Hi everyone, I want to go over how to do regression using both Minitab and Minitab Express. So the example I'm going to do here is that 16 volunteers drank some beer. 30 minutes later, their blood alcohol was tested. And we'll start with the first question, which is to find the scatter plot, the least square line, and interpret the slope and the R squared. So here's the Minitab output. Here's the data. So the first column is how many beers. This is the X variable, the independent variable. How many beers someone drank, and the response variable is the blood alcohol concentration, the BAC. So to create the scatter plot, we go under Stat, Regression, Fitted Line Plot. And the response variable is BAC, the predictor variable is beers, and we're going to do a linear model here. And we just click OK. And I'm just going to pull up the graph right here and bring it back to the Word document and just paste it here. So this graph shows that yes, indeed, there's a positive, fairly strong correlation between how many beers someone has in their blood alcohol level. And we've got the equation right here up here. BAC is negative 0.0127 plus, I'm just going to round that to 0.018 times beers times X. And so to interpret the slope, we would just say that each beer you drink increases blood alcohol by 0.018, because remember, slope is the change in Y per the change in X. So each beer consumed increases BAC by 0.108, right? 0.018. Okay, and then the R squared comes out to 80%. Remember, that's the percentage of the variability of Y that's explained by X. So we could interpret the R squared by saying 80% of the variability of BAC is explained by beers. Explained by beers consumed. Okay, so that answers the first questions there. The next thing is to test the hypothesis that beers consumed and blood alcohol are correlated. So the alternative could be that they're correlated, or it could also be written as there's a difference in the response due to the explanatory variable. The response is BAC, the explanatory variable is beers. That's also the same as testing the null hypothesis that the slope, beta 1, is equal to 0 against the alternative. The slope is, I should say, not equal to 0, right? And we can run that. Well, actually, it was automatically run when we ran Minitab, and there's the ANOVA table right there. And we'll just copy that over real quick. And so that comes out. You can see the p-value is basically 0, right? So it's less than alpha, less than 0.05. So we're going to reject the null hypothesis. And indeed, the conclusion would be that there is a difference, that they are correlated. I guess it was asking, are they correlated? All right, so that's how we run that one. Just to show how this runs in Minitab Express, let me pull that out. So in Minitab Express, we run it slightly different. We want to go under regression, simple regression, and the response variable is BAC, the predictor is beers. Okay, and again, we do linear, we just click OK, and we get the same result. There's the linear plot, there's the ANOVA table. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that see, pretty easy to find in Minitab Express. Okay, let's go over to the next one. So now I'm going to go over how to do confidence intervals and prediction intervals, and then to actually analyze the residuals. So we'll do all that here. So let's start with someone who drank 5 beers. How do we find confidence intervals? And again, confidence interval is the expected BAC for someone who drinks 5 beers. And prediction interval is for a specific person, which is going to have a lot more uncertainty. And then at the same time, I'll show you how we can get the residuals. So this is done in a different command. And let me actually pull up the Minitab. Okay, yeah, here it is. So this is done in a separate command. Not the fitted line plot, but the regression command. We want to fit the regression model. So the response is going to be BAC, the predictor, and we can put it under continuous, is beers. You can ignore everything else here. So under under, actually not under that. So under results, I'm going to click here where it says fit and diagnostics. I'm going to change that for all observations. That will give me all the residuals. Okay, and then you have to run this once before you do predictions. So first of all, let me just copy these over. So here's all the residuals. So I'm just going to copy these over. We'll look at those. We'll look at those where it says analyze the residuals. I'll get to that part after. But let's now I want to show you how to get that prediction interval. So I'm going to go back to Minitab, and now we go back to stat, regression. Now you'll notice that predict is lit up. It wasn't lit up before. So you've now set it up. And I just put in the 5 beers right here. Okay. And I'm going to copy this prediction result, actually both of them here. So for 5 beers, here's the confidence. We can just look at it right here. So for someone who drank 5 beers, the expected blood alcohol is 0.077. That's just plugging into the equation. So slightly below 0.08, which is the legal limit. The 95%, actually, I will copy these over. Okay. So for the confidence interval, I can be 95% confident that for the first question, that the expected blood alcohol for someone who has 5 beers is somewhere between 0.066 and 0.088. But for Joe specifically, it's much more uncertainty. We can really say it's somewhere between 0.03 and 0.12. So the answer, can you legally drive, is who knows, maybe, maybe not. I would recommend not driving in this case. Now, as far as the residuals are the most, what's the most unusual observation? What's the least unusual observation? So we can see here that the most unusual observation is that someone who drank 9 beers. And when just looking here, you can see that that is the only one that has a standardized residual, which is like a z-score more than 2. So that's how we get that command in Minitab. Now let me show how we get this in Minitab Express. So in Minitab Express, we can do the same. We actually can get the predictions. Once we've run the fitted line plot, you actually can do the predictions right from here. You see the green arrow tells you I'm lit up, ready for predictions, and there you can see prediction is lit up right there under regression. So I'll put the 5 years in here. And again, there's the confidence interval and the prediction interval, so that's done. But if you want to get all those residuals, you have to actually go and run the multiple regression. It's called, even though we're running simple regression. So I'm going to put the response is, again, blood alcohol. The predictors are beers. Okay, and then I'm going to just ask for all the residual plots. And if we run this, we'll get all that information. So now when we run that multiple regression, we get these plots. And you can also see in the plot that the graph of the residuals, that it has a normal distribution. And you can also do that in Minitab as well. I didn't ask for the graph, sir, but both Minitab and Minitab Express have those features. So anyway, that's how you run regression in Minitab and Minitab Express.